up everybody, it's your girl Kika in the house, because this is how I'm going to start this video. Yep, I had no idea how to start it and I already did, so I guess let's just move on to the next part. I know you guys enjoyed watching Dan working really hard on the boat for the past couple of weeks, and trust me, I do too, but I've decided that this week it's my turn. So a little bit of a background about me. I've always liked plants. Back home, my mom used to have our garden in our house always full of all sorts of different orchids and different type of plants. So I think the love of green areas has always been in my blood. And when Dan and I moved into the sailboat, I've told myself that just because we're on a boat doesn't mean I can't have a garden. So we built a little corner, very special to my heart, just for that. And over the past couple of years, we've collected some plants from different countries, and I've always shoved it in there and tried to make it look appealing, but it was always kind of a mess. I've decided that this week I would empty it all out and redesign it properly. So let's do this. Okay, I just came back from the workshop and I've got all my lovely pieces that I needed to cut. What I'm going to do with this back wall is install some of those metal sticky tiles that I've had at Home Depot. We've tested it last week and left it in the rain and left it out in a bucket of salt water to just make sure that it wouldn't rust, and nothing happened. So that's a good sign. And yeah, that's the first step, so let's get started. I'll try not to mess that up.
I'm trying to hide it.
Well, they don't stick. Some of them do, but for some reason, some of them don't. Just to be safe, I'm going to put some contact cement, and then they will never, ever, ever come off. Alright, I'm going to head back to the shop now and cut the very last row of tiles. So let's roll. Alright, I think we made it way too epic than it actually is, because this is the first time that I'm riding a longboard, and it's more of an awkward riding than epic. So, let's go to the shop. Good morning guys, this is day 2 of my botanical garden project. I promise today is not going to be as epic as yesterday, but last night I was able to finish the metal tiles on the back wall. I also did the back mirror wall. I ended up just doing half of the area because there is quite a lot of space back there, and I can use it to store some extra little parts like pots for plants or whatever. There is also a chain plate and some wires back there, so in case we need to access them, I don't want to just close in the entire space. Another project that I started last night was doing the floor, the ground, the beach. Yes, the beach. I didn't want to leave it with paint because it didn't really look that good. So since I have a jar of sand from Haiti for quite some time. The camera is getting so heavy I can't hold it. Okay, now that the camera's on the tripod, I can actually talk comfortably. So what I was saying is I have a jar of sand from Haiti. I have it for quite some time now, and I finally have a purpose for it. What I did, I mixed a few cups of it with some epoxy and mixed it up until it was a cookie dough texture, and then laid down the whole thing on the ground to create my beach. A piece of advice I would give to you if you plan on doing anything like that is to put down a few layers of masking tape, because if you put epoxy mixed with sand directly on a piece of plywood, it will never come off, and if ever you want it to come off, the tape will just make it easy. Another tip that I have is if you want to create any sort of shape or pattern, do it while the epoxy is wet so that when it dries, it keeps whatever shape you created in it, and it'll never come off. The problem now is that I don't really like the way it looks because it just looks like the sand is permanently wet. So what I'm going to do is brush a really thin layer of epoxy again and sprinkled some dry sand on it. Okay, you don't really need much. It looks like nothing, but it should do the job. I'm gonna have to almost
scrape it out.
Scrape it out. It's like I've done this before.
Wait, how many times do you think you've mixed epoxy on this boat?
First time I did it was when we were doing the floor. Second time I did it was when we were fixing the floor. Third time I did it, I think we were doing something in the bathroom. Fourth time I did it, I think it was when we were doing the tow.
The engine.
Oh yeah, the engine.
Mount. The engine.
The engine mount.
What was it called? The engine cradle? The engine.
Engine mount. Yeah. I think that was the fourth time was the engine mount, and the fifth time was the tow rails, and then the sixth time was mixing the sand, and then this is the seventh time, I guess. I probably missed a few times.
Plus a million times in between with little repairs.
The little projects here and there. Always had to mix a little batch, but yeah. I think I know what I'm doing with mixing the epoxy by now. Yeah, it's like cooking, although I don't know how to cook. I think I've mixed epoxy more times than I've ever cooked in my life. That's sad, isn't it? That can't be true.
Probably is.
All over the place.
In case you guys were wondering why Kika's crazy, no, I'm kidding. We actually did this exact method as a test for non-skid when we were in the Rio. We scrooged out a bunch of epoxy and sprinkled sand on it, waited for it to dry, vacuumed off the sand, put another layer of epoxy on it, and then a layer of paint, and it made a really, really, really grippy non-skid, but it was almost too grippy. It was like 80 grit sandpaper. So that's where this technique came from, and now we're just using it in the garden instead.
Yep. Because you don't have to walk on it. And voila. I've got the jar of sand is completely empty. I have it all in there. Now we just have to let it dry out, which is gonna take a few hours. So while we wait, I know you guys are wondering what Den is up to while I finish this project. So let's check up on Den. He's right behind the camera, by the way.
Hey, so I am finally doing a proper front for the icebox that we built in the Dominican Republic, I think. We never really covered it properly. We just glued some fabric on the top, but now that we know we like it and it works, and it's going to be our permanent freezer, it's time to build like a proper front and put some laminate on it so it looks good. And I think this piece that I just cut is going to fit perfectly. Cool.
And that was Den with the galley update. Back to you, Kika. Yeah, so, yep, Den is working behind the camera, I'm working in front of the camera. It's kind of like a flip situation this week, because usually I work behind the camera and he works in front of the camera. This is a role swap day. Moment of truth. I hope this works. Oh yeah, that looks good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. Now all I have to do is embellish the whole thing, add some plants. I've got, like, the boat right now looks like a jungle. I have some fake plants, I have some real plants. I'm gonna put some rock around and hide the tape areas. And yeah, I think it's gonna look nice after, so. Now it's time for the final touch. Thank you, Dan, for holding the camera. It didn't work. There's gotta be something simpler than that. It turned out so much better than I expected it would. And the best part is nothing in this area would ever move if we're sailing because the sand is epoxy down, the rocks are silicone down, and everything else are either glued or screwed down. And I still have to figure out what to do about the hanging orchid because it swings back and forth. And maybe it won't be a problem, but I might just put a little stick just to wedge it on there when we're sailing. And oh, my sea urchin that I hot glued down just fell. It was supposed to be a it's a jellyfish, but I didn't put enough hot glue, so I'll probably just re-glue it again. Anyway,
it's a 5200.
Yeah, this garden is extra special for me too because not only it's garden and I love gardens. I love gardens. Oh, look at that! It's like taking a piece of Haiti with me everywhere we go. The sand is from Haiti. The mask is an art piece from a local artist in Haiti. And the plant represents my mom's favorite orchid. So every time I can, I try to keep an orchid on board. It makes me think of her. And the spiral represents my love for Moana. I'm only half kidding. It's not quite done yet. I am in the process of making a couple little other plants like this one. It's supposed to be a jellyfish, but it's a sea urchin with the air plant in it. And I'm going to put a couple of them in the back wall. I think it'll look really cool. That's it for now. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. And let me know if you guys have any plants on board. What are your favorite plants? What works for you? And what are your solutions to keep them from not moving? And I'll see you in the next episode.
Did you break it?
It's okay. It survived. It's not broken. Whew. Okay, bye.